Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining this morning. Srimad Bhagavad Sangha and attentive japa, which we always try to maintain. And let's make a start because I've got a little bit extra to cover today. Just wanted to cover the chapter 17. So let's make a start. Okay. So now, after the descendants of Priyavrat, now we're talking about the descent of the Ganga Maya River Ganges. So this is also a very beautiful topic. And today Goswami is explaining to Maharaj Parikshit. He said, "My dear king, Lord Vishnu, the enjoyer of all sacrifices, appeared as Vaman Dev in the sacrificial arena of Bali Maharaj. Then he extended his left foot." So he's explaining how Ganges came about. Then he extended his left foot to the end of the universe and pierced a hole in its covering with the nail of his big toe. So Vamandev is also known as Uru Karma because he took a big jump, that big that he actually covered, went all the way to the universe, the end of our universe, and pierced a hole in the covering. Through the hole, the pure water of the causal ocean entered the universe as the Ganges River or Ganga. Having washed the lotus feet of the Lord, which are covered with reddish powder, the water of the Ganges acquired a very beautiful pink color. Every living being can immediately purify his mind of material contamination by touching the transcendental water of the Ganges. Yet its waters remain ever pure, because the Ganges directly touches the lotus feet of the Lord before descending within the universe. She is known as Vishnupadi. Later, she received other names like Janvi, Bhagirathi. After 1000 millenniums, the water of the Ganges descended to Dhruvalok, the topmost planet in this universe. Therefore, all learned sages and scholars proclaim Dhruvalok to be Vishnupad, or situated on Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. So, Shukadeva Goswami describes the glories of the Ganges River. The water of the Ganges is called Patita Pavani, the deliverer of all sinful living beings. It is a proven fact that a person who regularly bathes in the Ganges is purified both externally and internally. Externally, his body becomes immune to all kinds of disease, and internally, he gradually develops a devotional attitude toward the Supreme Personality Godhead. Throughout India, many thousands of people on the banks of the Ganges, and by regularly bathing in her waters, they are undoubtedly being purified both spiritually and materially. Many sages, including Shankaracharya, having composed prayers in praise of the Ganges, and the land of India itself has become glorious because such rivers as the Ganges, the Ganga, Yamuna, Godavari, Kaveri, Krishna, and Narmada flow there. Anyone living on the land adjacent to these rivers is naturally advanced in spiritual consciousness. And the Ganges, it goes all the way from the east to the west. So it flows across India. And there's so many pilgrimages, so many tirth stans across it. So it goes all the way to the Bay of Bengal, Mayapur, etc. So let's pray. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangum Langyate Girim Yat Kirpata Muhammad Deshi Gurun Din Taranam Paramnanda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Hariyam Tassat. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narotamam Devim Sarsvit Vyasam Tato Jay Madhuriyat. Nasna Prisha Abhadureshu Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhakti Neshtiki. So let's talk about Dhruv Maharaj. The famous son of Maharaj Uttanpad is known as the most exalted devotee of the Supreme Lord because of his firm determination in executing devotional service as a 5-year-old. Knowing that the sacred Ganges water washes the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, Dhruv Maharaj, situated on his own planet to this very day, accepts that water on his head with great devotion. That's amazing. Because he constantly thinks of Krishna very devoutly within the core of his heart, he's overcome with ecstatic anxiety. Tears flow from his half-open eyes and eruptions appear on his entire body. When a person is firmly fixed in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he described as Veeravrat, fully determined. Such a devotee increases his ecstasy in devotional service more and more. So as soon as he remembers Lord Vishnu, his eyes fill with tears. This is a symptom of Mahabhagavata. Dhruv Maharaj maintained himself in that devotional ecstasy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also gave us a practical example of transcendental ecstasy when he lived at Jagannath Puri. So when we read these passages, so gives so much faith in the river Ganga. Because sometimes, especially people who live there, can just take it for granted. It's, they see it as another river or a tourist attraction. They might not take it, that serious, because even the water that's coming to their homes is from the Ganges. Yeah. So they probably just take it for granted. They're washing their clothes in there and bathing in there and all sorts. But how to be mindful that it's such a glorious river. So, the 7 great sages, Marichi, Vashisht, Atri, and so on, reside on planets beneath Dhruvalok, well aware of the influence of the water of the Ganges. To this day, they keep Ganges water on the tops of hair on their heads. They have concluded that this is the ultimate wealth, the perfection of all austerities, and the best means of prosecuting transcendental life. Having obtained the uninterrupted devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they neglect all other benefits of process like religion, economic development, sense gratification, and even liberation, merging into the Supreme. Just as the Gyanis think that merging into the existence of the Lord is the highest truth, these 7 exalted personalities accept devotional service as the perfection of life. Transcendentalists are divided into 2 primary groups, Nirvisheshavadis and impersonalists, and the Bhaktas, or devotees. So impersonalists and devotees, basically. The impersonalists don't accept spiritual varieties of life. They want to merge in the existence of the Supreme Lord in his Brahman Picha as the Brahmajyoti. The devotees, however, desire to take part in the transcendental activities of Supreme Lord in the upper planets or planetary systems, the most topmost being Dhruvlok. And beneath Dhruvlok are the 7 planets occupied by the great sages, beginning with Marichi, Vishisht, and Atri. All these sages require devotional service as the highest perfection of life. Therefore, they all carry the holy water of the Ganges on their heads. So this verse proves that for one who has achieved the platform of pure devotional service, nothing else is important. Even so-called liberation is not important. Srila Sridhar Swami states that only by achieving pure devotional service of the Lord can one give up all other engagements as insignificant. So after purifying the 7 planets near Dhruvlok, the pole star, the Ganges water is carried through the spaceways of the demigods as billions of celestial airplanes. Then it inundates the moon, Chandalok, and finally reaches Lord Brahma's abode atop Mount Meru. So, just get around a bit. We should always remember that the Ganges River comes from the causal ocean, beyond the covering of the universe. After the water of the causal ocean leaks through the hole created by Lord Vamandev, it flows down to Dhruvlok and then to the 7 planets beneath Dhruvlok. Then it is carried to the moon by innumerable celestial airplanes or airplanes, and then it falls to the top of Mount Meru, which is known as Sumeru Parvat. In this way, the water of the Ganges finally reach the low planets and the peaks of Himalayas, and from there it flows through to Haridwar and throughout the plains of India. So it comes from the Himalayas into Haridwar and then it flows to the west, purifying the entire land. How the Ganges water reaches the various planets from the top of the universe is explained herein. Celestial airplanes carry the water from the planets of the sages to other planets. So-called advanced scientists of the modern age are trying to go to the other higher planets, but at the same time, they're experiencing a power shortage on Earth. If they were actually capable scientists, they could personally go by airplanes to the other planets, but this they are unable to do. Having now given up their moon excursions, they are attempting to go to other planets, but without success. So, you need celestial intervention if you want to reach such high projects in a high position. On top of Mount Meru, the Ganges divides into 4 branches, each of which gushes in a different direction, east, west, north, and south. These branches, known by the name Sita, Alakananda, Chakshu, and Bhadra, flow down to the ocean. The branches of the Ganges, known as Sita, flow through Brahmpuri atop Mount Meru, and from there it runs down to the nearby peaks of the Kasarachal Mountains, which stand almost as high as Mount Meru itself. These mountains are like a bunch of filaments around Mount Meru, and from the Kesarachal Mountains, the Ganges falls to the peak of Gandhamadan mountain and then it flows into the land of Bhadrashvash. Finally, it reaches the ocean of salt water in the west. The branches of the Ganges, known as Chakshu, fall onto the summit of Malevan mountain, and from there cascades on the land of Ketumalvarsh. The Ganges flows incessantly through Ketumalvarsh, and in this way also reaches the ocean of salt water in the west. The branch of the Ganges known as Bhadra flows from the northern side of the Mount Meru. Its water fall into the peaks of Kamud mountain, Mount Nila, Shweta mountain, and Shringavan mountain in succession. Then he runs down into the province of Kuru, and after crossing through that land, flows into the saltwater ocean in the north. So then it tells you more. Similarly, the branches of the Ganges known as Alakananda flows from the southern side of Brahmapuri or Brahma Southern, passing over the tops of mountains where it lands. It flows down the fierce force upon the peaks of Mount Hemakut and Himakut. After inundating the tops of these mountains, the Ganges flows down on the tract of land known as Bharatvarsh, which she also inundates. Then the Ganges flows into the ocean of salt water in the south. Persons who came to bathe in this river are fortunate. It is not very difficult for them to achieve with every step the results of performing great sacrifices like Vajsuya or Ashmedha Yagyas. So explaining, the places where it flows, the place where the Ganges flows into salt water of the Bay of Bengal is known as Ganga Sagar, or the meeting place of the Ganges and the Bay of Bengal. On Makar Sankranti, in the month of January, just gone, January to February, thousands of people still go there to bathe, hoping to be liberated. That they can actually be liberated in this way is confirmed herein. For those who bathe in the Ganges at any time, the results of great sacrifice like the Ashwamedh and Rajasuya Yagya are not at all difficult to achieve. So the results of these similar to doing, Raj Ashwamedha or Rajasuya. Most people in India are still inclined to bathe in the Ganges, and there are many places where they can do so. So it doesn't have to be exactly in Hardwar, although a lot of people go to Hardwar. It doesn't have to be there. It can be at Prayag in Allahabad. Many thousand people gather during the month of January to bathe in the confluence of the Ganges at Yamuna, where they meet. Afterwards, many of them go to the confluence of the Bay of Bengal of the Ganges to take bath there. That thus it is a special facility for all the people of India that they can bathe in the water of the Ganges at so many places of pilgrimage. So, once upon a time, traveling was very difficult. Nowadays, we have trains and planes and we can get around a lot quicker. We have cars, but, maybe 50, 100 years ago, say, people could not get around so easily. God is merciful. The river Ganges is merciful. It has gone to the people instead. So we come back to Shukadeva Goswami, who said, in the tract of land known as Ilavratvarsh, the only male person is Lord Shiva, the most powerful demigod. Goddess Durga, the wife of Lord Shiva, does not like any man to enter that land. If any foolish man dares to do so, she immediately turns him into a woman. Now, in Ilavrat, Lord Shiva is always encircled by 10 billion maidservants of Goddess Durga who minister to him. The quadruple expansion of the Supreme Lord is composed of Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Anirudh, and Sankarshan. Sankarshan, the fourth expansion, is certainly transcendental, but because his activities of destruction in the material world are in the mode of ignorance, he is known as Tamsi. The Lord form in the mode of ignorance is like Lord Shiva, and he is the original cause of his own existence, and thus he always meditates upon him in trance by chanting the following mantra. So Lord Shiva, he meditates on Sankarshan, is mentioned here. And this is what he says. We'll come to that in a minute. So Prabhupada explains that sometimes we see a picture of Lord Shiva engaged in meditation. This verse explains that the Lord Shiva is always meditating upon Lord Sankarshan in trance. So you will see Lord Shiva in a meditation pose that is meditating on Lord Sankarshan. So Lord Shiva is in charge of the destruction of the material world. Lord Brahma creates the material world, Lord Vishnu maintains it, and Lord Shiva destroys it. I mean, the world is only destroyed so they can build a new one. It's not like it's destroyed and it's finished. They destroy it and then they rebuild it as well. Because destruction is in the mode of ignorance, Lord Shiva and his worshipful deity Sankarshan are technically called Tamsi. Lord Shiva is the incarnation of Tamagun. Since both Lord Shiva and Sankarshan are always enlightened and situated in a transcendental position, they have nothing to do with the mode of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. So they are above the modes. Lord Shiva is above the modes. It's just that the occupation he has is in the mode of ignorance. Okay. So the most powerful Lord Shiva says, this is his praying to Sankarshan. The most powerful Lord Shiva says, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisance unto you. In the expanses, Lord Sankarshan. You are the reservoir of all transcendental qualities. Although you are unlimited, you remain unmanifest to the non-devotees. O my Lord, you are the only worshipful person, for you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the reservoir of all opulences. Your secure lotus feet are the only source of protection for all your devotees, whom you satisfy by manifesting yourself in various forms. O my Lord, you deliver your devotees from the clutches of material existence. Non-devotees, however, remain entangled in material existence. By your will, kindly accept me as your eternal servant. And that should be our prayer, That's how we should be praying. We cannot control the force of our anger. Therefore, when we look at material things, we cannot avoid feeling attraction or repulsion for them. But the Supreme Lord is never affected in this way. Although he glances over the material world for the purpose of creating, maintaining, and destroying, he is not affected even to the slightest degree. Therefore, one who desires to conquer the force of the senses must take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, and then he will be victorious. And then Lord Shiva goes on to say, for persons with impure vision, the Supreme Lord's eyes appear like those of someone who discriminately drinks intoxicating beverages. This is for a person who's with impure vision. Thus bewildered, such unintelligent persons become angry at the Supreme Lord. And due to the angry mood, the Lord himself appears angry and very fearful. However, this is an illusion. Okay, so this is an illusion. This is how they see the Lord. When the wives, the serpent demons, were agitated by the touch of the Lord's lotus feet, due to shyness, they could proceed no further in their worship of him. Yet the Lord remained unagitated by their touch, for he is equipoise in all circumstances. Therefore, who will not worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead? And then Lord Shiva says, all the great sages accept the Lord as the source of creation, maintenance, destruction, although he actually has nothing to do with these activities. Therefore, the Lord is called unlimited. Although the Lord is in this incarnation as Shesha, holds all the universes on his hoods, each universe feels no heavier than a mustard seed to him. Therefore, what person desiring perfection will not worship the Lord? From that Supreme Personality Godhead appears Lord Brahma, whose body is made from the total material energy, the reservoir of intelligence, predominated by the passionate mode of material nature. From Lord Brahma, I myself born as a representation of false ego known as Rudra. So Lord Shiva is known as like son of Lord Brahma. By my own power, I create all the other demigods, the five elements, and the senses. Therefore, I worship the Supreme Personality Godhead, who is greater than any of us and under whose control are situated all the demigods, material elements, and senses, and even Lord Brahma and I myself, like birds bound by a rope. Only by the Lord's grace can we create, maintain, and annihilate the material world. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Being. The illusory energy of the Supreme Personality Godhead binds all of us conditioned souls to the material world. Therefore, without being favored by him, persons like us cannot understand how to get out of the illusory energy. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who is the cause of creation and annihilation. So suddenly, from talking about river Ganga, we went to Lord Shiva. And I'm sure there's because Lord Shiva plays a very big role in all this, in bringing Ganges to, in planet Earth or Bharatvash. So now, the Shiva Bhagavatam is talking about him. But the main thing is that even Lord Shiva, worships Krishna in the form of Sankarshan, and he has a lot of understanding of the power and the mercy of Lord Krishna, and you can see the mercy that we have the scriptures, and we also have the river Ganges that we can purify. There's like something for everyone. So there's like so many methods that we can purify ourselves and go back home. And obviously, we'll be talking about a lot more about the river Ganges. I think it's quite a big topic and how it came about. So thank you all so much for joining. Anything you would like to add? We'll start with the Sarveshi Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji, Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Very nice topic, the Mother Ganges. Actually, it's non different from Lord Vishnu or Krishna because Ganges come from Ocean. where Mahavishnu resides. And Ganges is known by different names like Bhagirathi, Jahnavi, or Vishnu Padi. Bhagirathi, like Bhagirath, he performed austerity to bring the Ganges down to deliver his relatives. So that's why it's named Bhagirath. And Jahnavi, because once Janamuni, he followed Ganges, and that's why she called Jahnavi. And Vishnupadi from the lotus feet of Lord Vishnupadi. It is said that there is no difference in Ganges and Bhagavad-Gita because Bhagavad-Gita emanates from Lord's mouth and the Ganges from his lotus feet. So both are same. Ganges is so merciful that she liberates any pious people. She purifies everybody equally. She never says, who comes to me that he's a sinner, he must have should bath in my water. But she's very, very merciful. Anyone who takes bath in Ganges becomes devotee of the Supreme Lord because it's so powerful, Ganges Leela, because it's a part of Krishna. So people every day they bath, they become devotees. And they say in the Kali Yuga, Ganges, Krishna's form is in Ganges because Lord Krishna purifies everybody. So the Ganges, same thing, the Ganges purifies everybody. Lord Chaitanya, he was very fond of Ganges, Mother Ganga, because every day he used to pray to Ganga Devi for her mercy towards everyone. He knew that by her mercy, all everybody will become devotees. It says that those who regularly hear, I mean, we can't go to Ganges. I mean, we are not that fortunate. People live by the Ganges, they are very fortunate, but we are very unfortunate. But if we hear the names and glories of Ganga, it obtains the same result in bathing in the Ganga. So, like when we invoke after class, we say Ganga Maya, Vijay, Jamna Maya. So, by saying that, we actually have bath in Ganga. Or in the morning, when it's having bath, we say 3 times Ganga, Ganga. That means you have bath in Ganga. So, by it's so powerful by hearing, by calling her name, you become purified. That means have bath in the Ganges. So that's when I mean we can't. We're not that fortunate because we have people in Bharat Barish. They're very fortunate. They have Ganga. But they say when you wash the lotus feet in your deity, if wash the feet of the deity and drink that water because it becomes Ganga because it purifies. If anything on the lotus feet of Krishna becomes purified. So Ganga is very merciful towards everybody, and it is. I mean, some people go and just bath in the Ganga. They don't think of anything. They think they know that if that purifies them, then when they come and they could do sinful activities again, they say like it's elephant bath. That's what they call it. But we should try to think of Ganga Mata. She's so merciful. They said it's going down, and I think I don't know, it's 10,000 years or so, it will just disappear. So we should just here, if we're still alive, people should at least take her name and by remembering her, and that will purify you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Madhuri. Thank you. Yeah, very nice points there. And it's amazing, how much emphasis is given in the scriptures to River Ganges. The Ganga is the center hub of our pilgrimage. Anybody wants to go pilgrimage? What's associated with the pilgrimage is the River Ganga, at least on that part of India. It's really the part of the package is the river Ganga. Without that, you have to you go and see with your eyes the places, the holy places, but then you also take bath in the Ganga itself. And so you purify yourself by looking at the holy places, and you purify yourself by bathing yourself into this holy water, holy places, holy water. So, and only you find that India is amazing, for what it offers as in spirituality, and so much uh, emphasis given to this river. And like Mati mentioned that because it's coming from the feet of the Lord. I mean, India, we give so much emphasis to the feet. If a sage came to your house, you would wash their feet and then drink the water and sprinkle it over your head, or, or just sprinkle it over your head. And, but the feet are given so much emphasis just for like living entities. Never mind, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, its feet. So thank you so much, Pundikaksh Prabhu. Haribol.
Haribol, Prabhuji. Yeah, Mataji explained, and you explained so nicely. This subject itself is very, very hard to understand for me. And Jay Prabhu shared some images also on our group, which are very hard to understand for me at least. Only 2 points which I could understand is like, as you said, Mother Ganga is coming from the lotus feet of the Lord, where a devotee aspired to take shelter of. Like 1.5.17, Prabhupada mentioned so many times, Charanam Brajam Hare, one who hold the lotus feet of the Lord. There is no delusion, like there is no point where you will fall down, you will be helped by Krishna automatically. So that is one thing. And I think if one understands this chapter, then Ganga, the holiness of Ganga will be understood, and people will not try to pollute Mother Ganga, actually, at least in India. And I was just Googling, and in the Google it says it's fifth largest polluted river in the world now.
Yeah, this saying local people, they take it for granted, right?
Yes, Prabhuji. And another point you mentioned about the devotees. So there are 5 kinds of liberation, where one is merging into the Brahman, second taking the place where the Lord exists, planet, opulences, futures, and one would like to be a part of his Leela itself. So the first one, absolutely, it is for impersonalists merging into Brahman, but a devotee aspire always to be a part of his Leela more. Um, all the other 4 also favor, but they like to be a part of his Leela, take part in the Leela. That's all, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you. Praveen Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you. Yeah, it's very nice, but like I haven't really got anything to add. Well, we have, we knew, importance of Ganga Maya, how pure it is, but very happy to read it in the Bhagavatam as well. So I think I'm going to read the chapter again, listen to the class again, Mataji's realizations. Yeah, the only point that I picked up was like bathing in the Ganges gives you the same results nearly like Ashwamedh and Rajsuya Yagya. Yeah, but we know the glories. And even now, when I went to India, I had a bath twice, and I even, washed my chanting beads, and I said to Krishna, please help me to chant nicely,
Yes, yeah.
So, yeah, so, but reading this chapter, if I'd read it before, then probably I would have done a bit more when I was there. So, but definitely next time we go. So, because I didn't realize, how much importance like the Prabhupada ji has given as well to Ganges. So, but we do the prayer in the morning when we do Ganga Yamuna, when we have a shower and say Ganga, Ganga, Ganga. So, yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. So, we'll certainly read and listen to the class again.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. You want to add anything? Because Radharani, she's lived by the Ganges for many years. So just want to hear your realization.
Hare Krishna, everyone. I think because we are all Indians, somewhere we are all Indians, our families belong to India. So we all are so fortunate that we are just connected to Ganges by default, isn't it? Um, we belong to India. Our ancestors were there were born in India, and by that dint of that virtue, we all had birth in India, or we are connected to our ancestors who are from India. So it's so humbling, isn't it, for us that others, they have to understand the importance of this river, and for us it's so normal to see in our homes Ganga water and Ganga Jal. And after coming to Krishna consciousness, you get so much knowledge about Ganges. And even before coming to Krishna consciousness, I think most of us watched the serial Mahabharat, and to see the Mother Ganges being, portrayed as
Mother of Vishnu.
as mother of Bhishma Dev, and how she spoke then in that epic TV serial, it was brilliant. It was no less than Bhagavatam for me even at that time, because we didn't know anything better at that time. But so much about Ganges, and how to respect her, and just thinking about her, I think we get purified, even if we are miles away from her. And we are so fortunate that we have been given that mantra, Ganga Cha Yamune Cha. We can just make our own Achaman Ganga Jal if we don't have Ganga Jal. That is so brilliant. So this shows that Krishna is so merciful that he has actually given Ganges to all of us, even if we are far from Ganges. We can just invoke the Ganges and all the 7 rivers uh, water into our Achaman cup, or just while having before doing the puja, because even if we have shower and everything, wear clean clothes, we're still not that purified. We know that. So just by saying that mantra, we invoke the auspicious presence of these rivers. And yes, far as the polluting of the rivers is concerned, I think because the population has become so much now and it's growing day by day. So no matter what the governments do, no matter how some people haven't got better resources, they have to use, the Ganges water.
It's
The
the
poor,
government's responsibility.
they haven't got choice, but it's the big industries, I think, who are unregulated. Even we hear in the West how the, dirty water is thrown by the big industries into the rivers and oceans here. So never mind our countries who are still lacking in so much, economic resources. So yes, it's been a very nice class to hear about Mother Ganges. Hare Krishna.
And the major thing is, we still call it Ganga Jal. You make this Ganga water, isn't it?
In the pot.
In the pot. And even though you invoke all the different rivers, we still,
7 rivers.
you still call it Ganga Jal.
Ganga Jal.
Because Ganga Jal is the topmost. And as Radharani mentioned, as Indians, we have a great responsibility. Sri Prabhupada mentions that we have a great responsibility as Indians to spread spirituality, to spread Krishna consciousness around the world. Many, especially Europeans, especially Americans, they don't understand. Eastern Europeans don't understand a lot of things. And when they do sense gratification, their sin is not as high as the Indians when we do sense gratification. We get our results are bigger, because we should know better. We have all the education, we have everything there. People who don't know, what can they do? Well, we come from a place where all this spiritual education is there, right and wrong, and spirituality is taught, and we should really know better, and we should know ourselves and help others to know as well. Thank you. Just want to read what Jai Prabhu.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Prabhuji, we brought Ganga Jal, we bring it every time, but I've still got the container from 1987, and it's still all nice and clean.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then you realize, it doesn't matter how much polluted Ganga Maya is, but still the gel is so pure.
Clean.
And now we were talking, and I was thinking, oh my God, how nice it would be to have kirtan at Ganga Maya, all we hear is the Aarti, but we don't see anybody else doing any puja. So it was so nice if all devotees go and we have a big kirtan there.
There is Kirtan in Mayapur, when the Ganges flows by Mayapur,
Uh-huh.
the devotees do there all the time. And I've seen even in Haridwar as well, the ISKCON devotees when they're visiting. And when I
Yes,
last time, because we were wearing tilak and we had the chanting beads, the
you're
pujaris
right.
was saying to us, Hare Krishna, and it was so nice. I was
Yes.
so happy that they recognized with our tilak, thank you,
Wow.
Prabhupada, and with the beads. We didn't say anything to them. They just quickly said to us, Hare Krishna, do you want to have some puja done? So, just
Yes,
them saying Hare Krishna was felt to me like Prabhupada has reached every corner of India.
definitely, Mataji. It's so nice.
Very nice.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Jai Prabhu is just reminding us a few summary points. So the Ganges originated from the water that leaked out from the coastal ocean after Vamandev pierced the covering of the universe with his toenail. Yeah. Because the water of the Ganges washes the lotus feet of the Lord Vishnu, it is transcendental. Anyone that regularly bathes in the Ganges purified both externally and internally. Externally, his body becomes immune to all kinds of disease, and internally he develops a devotional attitude towards the Lord. Excuse me. The Ganges flows through the and purifies the heavenly plants of Dhruv and the plants of the seven sages, then is carried to the moon in celestial airplanes. In this way, the water of the Ganges also reaches the low planets and the peaks of the Himalayas, and from there it flows through Haridwar and throughout India. The Ganges then reaches the top Mount Meru. Here the river divides into 4 symmetrical branches and then flows down to different varshas on the Jambudvip island before they all join in the surrounding saltwater ocean. So before the Ganges reaches the Earth planet, it lands on Shiva's head to slow down the force of the flow of the river. Thank you so much. So very nice and very purifying just to be even talking about it. It's Bhagavatam is purifying itself, but even more purifying when we talk about the river Ganges. Thanks very much. And now we'll do a couple of rounds. And Sureshi Mataji, Puri Mataji, please, Mataji, Sureshi Mataji, please do the first round. And then we can go on to second round.